What's up? It's Marco, Sage of Soccer Day. I'll be talking about U.S. men's national team players to keep an eye on in France. We had a couple of players who are like some real stars, a dual international I want to keep an eye on, and some more fringe players who maybe will be able to push for the World Cup squad. So starting things off, we got the biggest player in France for the USA team, Tim Weah, and man, he's just a really talented player, but he hasn't really translated that into production for his club team yet. Despite a really good end to last season, he really wasn't that good for Lille. And when you have a player like Jonathan David up front, Yilmaz was still doing very well for them. Like, you're kind of hoping that he'll be able to step into a bigger role. Hopefully, Jonathan David will get a move away, and that'll help him progress. But at the moment, Tim Weah, he's kind of hasn't taken that step forward at club level, which is kind of weird because he really distinguished himself at international level. And playing in the French league, it's not exactly the highest level of competition, definitely the weakest of the big five leagues, but still a really talented player, hoping he'll be able to take a step forward this year. Doesn't really affect his World Cup spot. He's a lock already. But hoping he can really progress and maybe get a bigger move, because Lille, not exactly the biggest club in France, and you'd expect him to want to go somewhere higher to play in the future. Next guy, we got Conrad De La Fuente. He had a really promising start to last season, but did kind of tail off. Like, apparently there or either clashes with the manager or issues with maturity, which he's a really young player. I don't really care. But overall, you can see the talent on him. He's a really good dribbler. I thought his end product was actually pretty good last season. He was making a lot of chances happen, a lot of good balls into the box. But again, kind of like Tim Weah, he doesn't need to take that definitive step forward, be able to consistently impact games while starting, and hopefully this will be the year to do it. New manager coming in for Marseille, and hoping he can really progress and take that other step forward. And then last guy to really look out for in Ligue 1 is Erik Palmer-Brown, and he had a very good season last year, and he's finally found a home. Like, man, I understand like really wanting to be in a club like Man City or Chelsea, but getting out of that lone army situation, it's done wonders for Erik Palmer-Brown. He wasn't a back three, but he looked really good, was putting in some good performances against some top attacking players, like very good job against a PSG when they had everybody they wanted to start playing. And man, he's a guy who's really good on the ball. He's a pretty athletic defender. He's got all the traits that you really want, and hopefully he's just able to continue to progress, become a stronger defender, become more solid, more consistent, and he honestly has a very good chance to make the national team. He's already played for us a little bit. He's definitely better than a lot of our center backs. Like, he's one of the more complete players, similar to like a Chris Richards, honestly like a Mark McKenzie, where you look, he has all the traits you want in a defender, just got to consistently put together his performances in a two at the back, or two center back system, which we have. And I really think he could be somebody who starts the rest of the World Cup. Like, I know Zimmerman's been good for us in CONCACAF, but I'm pretty worried about how he'll do against a good attack. So having someone like an Erik Palmer-Brown as an option, I'm really looking forward to seeing him, and hopefully he can continue to progress. And lastly, we got two players in the league that I want to talk about. First, Nicholas Gioacchini, because he is looking like he might get a move out. I can't say for certain. He was training away from the first team in June, I think it was, when he just got back from Montpellier. And he's kind of interesting because with Tim Weah and Conrad De La Fuente, you can kind of see like the talent, even though they didn't really have results. Nicholas Giuchini, I do like him. I watched the Gold Cup. He was better than Pariola. He was better than Christian Roldan. I'm sorry, but it was. I covered every single game in that tournament. And you could see he's a decent player, but he was honestly probably the worst attacker to get consistent playing time in a top 5 league last year. And I am not joking. No goals. He had 1 or 2 assists, but despite some consistent game time, he was really struggling to make an impact, and I think that staying at Cone would probably be a good idea. Just keep progressing. I'm saying progress a lot, but these are young players, and they do need to develop. They need to become better finishers, better movement, more consistent end product, like all those things. And I feel like going into a system where you can start, play week in, week out, at a variety of positions. Hopefully it'd just be one, but I like his versatility. He can play across the front line, but just get some playing time, continue to develop, and hopefully he'll become a great player in the future. He's somebody I've been looking at for a good amount of time, because he was one of our first players to really start making noise in Europe, and it's good to see him continue to look good, get into the national team. But despite me thinking like I think he's a better option than Ariola and Roldan, like I would have Josh Sargent, Matthew Hoppe, a good amount of other players above him as like wingers or strikers or anything really. But he's still a talented player. And last guy I want to talk about is actually not a U.S. men's national team player yet, but he could be. Amir Richardson. He's the son of Michael Ray Richardson. He was a former NBA All-Star who had to move to France to play, but you can look into that if you want. But he's a defensive midfielder, obviously huge, son of an NBA player, 6'5". He's looked really good in limited time with Le Havre and Ligue, and I think he could be something to look out for. 6 is a major question mark for us right now. We have Count Acosta as our main backup, and we still need to see like a Johnny Cardoso or a Tanner Testman become like a good player to take that role in the future, but it's still Count Acosta at the moment. I don't think Richardson's going to break in for the 2022 World Cup or anything, but you can see a lot of talent on the ball, great defensive work rate, and he's 6'5". You can't teach that size. And at a position like a defensive midfielder that can be valuable, like his height can actually mean something, going up and winning headers, being a physical player, know he's a good athlete. He's still obviously a lead player. Like, he's not playing at that high of a level, so you can only gauge his talent so much. He has been called into, I think it was the French under-20 team, but at the same time, they had better players in his position called up to the senior squad at the similar age ranges. So maybe him joining America for playing time wouldn't be that far-fetched. I believe he's also in Morocco, dual international, so somebody to keep an eye on there, but still very good player, a lot of potential, and I really like the talent we have in France. Tim Weah, he's obviously going to be a locked-in starter. I'd really like Conrad De La Fuente to get back into the team. I think he brings like an energy that we could really use off the bench in a game where, let's say, we're down or tied in a game we want to win. Like, I feel like he could be very valuable in the World Cup. Erik Palmer-Brown being a defender who can build out the back and deal with the press, like, I like that. Even Nicholas Giuchini, I liked his talent. Amir Richardson could be very fun in the future. We got a lot of players to watch in France, and yeah, gonna be some really good players. Probably going to talk about guys in England, Germany, Italy, Spain. Just the other. Don't know if I'll talk about Championship and Premier League in the same video. That's going to be a lot, but yeah, a lot of good players abroad. Just want to give a quick talk about them before the season actually starts, because we got some really talented players. And yeah, that's all I'll talk right now. See you.